In this video, I want to dive into a powerful truth about manifestation that often gets overlooked or misunderstood. You don't get what you want. You get what you are and what you believe to be true. This goes beyond some of the usual manifestation advice, and I want to share a deeper perspective here that can truly transform the way that you create reality. And one reason I wanted to make this video is that I received a comment on one of my recent videos, and the viewer was asking me to go into this specific topic a little bit more. So here we are, here's this video. It's a really important aspect to manifestation. Before we dive in and get started, if you haven't already, be sure to sign up for my newsletter below. The link is in the description. And when you sign up, you'll get instant access to one of my free guided meditations to help shift your identity. So it's a great tool if you're getting started with your manifestation journey. So one of the things with manifestation is that it's not just about wanting something or trying to force it into your life. It's really about frequency. At its core, it's about who you are internally, your self-concept, your beliefs, what you believe to be true about the world and those around you, your energetic state that you bring to every encounter and situation. So this internal identity that each and every one of us has, it acts like a magnet. So in this way, it naturally then attracts certain experiences, people, or opportunities that match it. So I've talked about this a lot on this channel, everyone is you pushed out, this relationship that we have with our internal state and then the external world, which is really a reflection of our inner world. But what you are on the inside sends out certain signals to the universe, and it really does shape the reality that you experience, much more so than whatever it is that you say you want or desire. So another important key here is that we also have to understand the distinction between wanting, which is about, doing something or achieving something, right? We see a gap between where we are and where we want to go, or what we have and what we want. And instead being, which is about embodying a certain state of existence and a certain state of abundance where we already have what we desire. So manifestation works when you become the person who already has what you want, rather than just endlessly chasing and feeling like, oh, I'm so close, but it's still out there, it's still external. You have to give it to yourself internally before you can ever receive it externally. That's just how the universe works. So you have to internally feel as though you already have all the things you desire for those things to then manifest around you, because the 3D world is the world of effect and the cause is internal. Another aspect to all of this is the role of unconscious beliefs that we all have. So a lot of people, they focus on what they want, they focus on their desires. And we already talked about the issue with that. The problem is when you desire something, you see it as separate from you and you're always chasing after it. There's always a gap. But when you feel internally that you already have it, that you're already fulfilled right now, you shrink it. There's no gap. It's already present in your life. You already have the feeling of having it right now. But in addition to that, a lot of people aren't quite aware of not only these unconscious beliefs that they have, but also how these unconscious beliefs play such a strong role in all of our lives. Things that just we absorbed as kids. And later on in life, we find ourselves maybe repeating the same patterns as before, wondering why. A lot of times it's because of this conditioning. Maybe it's even something from a past life, but these deep-seated beliefs we have about ourselves and what we're capable of, what we deserve, these really form the foundation of who we are and what's possible for us. So the issue is these beliefs are subconscious, so they're not readily apparent unless you do some inner work. You do some shadow work and you figure out what exactly is going on. Why do I keep acting the same way? Why do I keep bringing the same types of people into my life? Well, it's because a lot of times we haven't done the work on ourselves to really understand what's going on. And if your subconscious programming is limiting and it conflicts with what you consciously want, then you're going to struggle to manifest those desires in your life, because you're actually, even though you don't realize it consciously, you're going to hold yourself back. And that's why true transformation isn't just about acquiring certain things in the physical world. It's about really transforming who we are on the inside and shifting these core beliefs about what is possible for us. I think that's really the key to manifestation. People always want to know, like, what are the tips and tricks and what are the hacks? It's usually the same kinds of things, like a great relationship, financial success, health. Yeah, those are the big ones, I would say. Health, money, romance, right? I mean, that's what people want. And it's really not about those external things. It's about shifting internally and viewing yourself as a different kind of person, the kind of person who has all those things in abundance. And it's a lot, well, it can be hard or easy depending on if you think it's hard or easy, but that's a different way of approaching things. We're so used to approaching things in the 3D world instead of doing like the inner work to shift those beliefs about ourselves. Going back to this idea of wanting something, the paradox is the more that you want something, then the more resistance that you yourself create to that thing. Because again, remember, when you're attached to a desire or a certain outcome, but you haven't aligned your identity with it, you're always putting it up on a pedestal, like somewhere out there, maybe one day I'll be lucky enough that it comes into my life. But what often happens here is then you get into this frequency, this energy of impatience, frustration, or even desperation. And that just pushes what you want further away from you. So we have to become aware of these very subtle emotional cues to help us recognize when we're out of alignment with who you need to become and be in order to receive what you want. So again, coming back to this idea that you get what you are and what you embody, just think about it. Think of people that you see in your life. Are there people that you find either in a positive or in a negative way that you find them sort of living the same reality over and over? Maybe someone who's really successful naturally has more success and you think, wow, that's amazing. Maybe it's someone on the opposite end who is always in financial difficulty or always feels poor. And no matter how much money they have, they could have a new job that pays double the salary, they still mentally feel like it's not enough. These examples can show us that it's really the identity. It's the identity, the being that, whatever we're doing behind the scenes, that then creates the reality that we live in. And I've seen this in my own life and through working with other people, that when you can learn to shift this internal identity, then the external world will then follow. And another thing that happens, and I've touched on this in my channel, I can do a deeper dive if you'd like, just let me know in the comments. But when you make those internal shifts and you show up as a different version of yourself, then not only does the external world recognize that and follow, but when you're operating from that place, you'll take inspired action. You'll make the decisions that align with that version of yourself, instead of the old decisions from the old you that always brought you back to that same place. So now, if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations, you're really focused on actually, transforming your life and transmuting certain things and creating true change. That's amazing. You are the people that I really want to speak to, people who are actually willing to put in the time and energy to make these shifts. So I want you to try just one thing. If you've made it this far in the video, it's really simple. Pause and honestly ask yourself, who do I truly believe I am? And just sit with that for a moment. Who am I? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? The pros and cons. How do you view yourself? And just write it down. And if you're too lazy to write it down, that's fine. Just sort of think about it for a few minutes. And what we're really getting at here is your current self-concept. Are you outgoing? Are you shy? Are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? Are you very artistic, or you're not artistic at all? You're great at sports, you're terrible. Whatever it is, just think about the way you would describe yourself to others. What are some of those big points that really get to the true essence of who you are? And this is the starting point. This is your current self-concept, and it's shaping your reality right now. So from this point, once we understand where you are currently, then we can start to make little tweaks and changes, and we can start to consciously choose different thoughts, different emotions, and then take different action if we want to shift that identity to the identity of a different version of you. You see how this works? So there are many tools that we can, implement in that area, like affirmations, visualizations, etc. But this is the starting point. Like, how do you view yourself? What is the story that you've told about yourself? What is the narrative? If your character were in a movie, which in a sense it is, living in this crazy world, but if you were to describe yourself as a character in a movie, what would that paragraph look like? And one more thing I'm going to add here, and I'm going to try to wrap this up because this video is getting a little bit long, but one more advanced aspect to all of this is it's important to recognize that our desires, they often come from like these deep identity needs. So anything that we want to manifest in our life, it's because we think it's going to make us feel a certain way. And I challenge you, tell me one thing in your life where that's not the case. It's always about us wanting to feel a certain way, to gain a certain emotion. So you may find, and I've found that very often when you start to be able to fulfill those needs internally by shifting your identity, then the desires themselves might actually change, or in some cases just vanish. Because in a sense, you're giving yourself internally what before you were searching for externally. And this is a more advanced aspect to this whole thing, but it's at the root of what we're getting at. That by shifting that inner reality, shifting that inner identity, one of abundance, you have it right now, you'll likely find that with that new sense of self, you don't need or chase after external things in the same way, if at all. So again, I invite you, or I challenge you to start living as if you are already the person who has what you want. So align your feelings, your thoughts, and your actions with that identity every moment of every day. Operate from that new version of you. Because remember, manifestation starts to flow naturally when you are just being that version of you and you feel and know that you have what you want right now. Not when you're chasing after outcomes externally and hoping that one day they might come into your life. So to sum all of this up, because I talked about a lot of different aspects of this, but essentially you get what you are. So your identity and your beliefs shape your reality far more than you realize, and far more than just your wants and desires. So shift your self-concept, release the attachment to outcomes, and start to embody the version of you who already has it, who already is full and complete and fulfilled right now, because internally you're giving to yourself everything that you desire. So thanks so much for watching and supporting this channel. And let me know in the comments how you relate to this concept, or share your experiences with these identity shifts and manifestation. And if you haven't already, be sure to sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the description below and the pinned comment. And if you sign up today, you'll get one of my popular guided meditations for free. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.